Welcome back to Dimitri's Garage. Today we're going to be working on the 240SX behind me, and we're going to be changing the transmission oil. This 240SX has just 16,000 miles, but because I'm not the first owner, I don't really know what the shape of the transmission oil is. There's a slip included from the dealership that's been servicing the car back in Ohio that shows a warranty job of replacing the entire transmission. It was done at very low mileage, and it's hard to tell why that happened. You're also going to need a ratchet, and I would recommend some cleaner to make sure your transmission is nice and clean so that you're not introducing any debris when you go in there to check the level and to refill it. So the other thing you're going to need to complete this job is going to be some gear oil, specifically GL4 gear oil, not GL5 compatible with GL4. And the reason is we have a synchro mesh transmission with brass parts in there, and this oil is going to be safe for it, unlike the newer oils, which are really designed for differentials. For my gear oil, I chose the Redline MT90, which is a 75W90 true GL4 oil for synchro mesh transmissions. So the other tool you're going to need to do a successful oil change is a pump. In my case, I'm using this one. So guys, now that we're under the car, let's familiarize ourselves with exactly what's down here. This is the transmission, the manual 5-speed that comes in the 240 S14. This is a 1996. And from what I recall, the S13 is very similar. I believe it takes 1/10 of a liter less oil than the S14, but I suggest you get the correct manual. Now down here is your drain plug, and up here is your fill plug. Now when you take it out, you can feel in there and see how close the oil level is. Essentially, as your finger slides in, the oil should be just below it. Now before we get started, let's hit it with PB Blaster. Let's clean it up with a wire brush and wipe it clean, especially the fill area. And hit that as well. So while that starts to penetrate, let's get our handy little brush and get up there and really start to clean, wipe the thing down. So for this job, you literally need a ratchet with a 1/2 inch end. This is a Wera one that I really like using, but any 1/2 inch will work. You're literally just treating the plug as a socket. But let's get the fill plug off first. Ooh, that is a seriously heavy duty. So guys, let's pop this bad boy off. Ooh. All right, here it comes, guys. So because this transmission only has a few thousand miles, the magnet actually looks pretty clean. That's not bad at all. Let's wipe it off. So while these are out of the car, I like to give them a nice scrubbing. Time to reinstall the drain plug. They used Teflon tape at the bottom of the thread for, I'm not sure exactly why. The manual doesn't call for it. I figure maybe the dealer knew something that I don't know. So I thought, why not use thread sealant instead? And I used a Loctite high temperature thread sealant that I've used on expansion tanks and a few other things. Now the appropriate torque rating is going to be 22 foot-pounds as kind of the middle range of what Nissan tells you. I'm going to use this adapter on my 3/8 snap-on to get it to 1/2. Now guys, it's fine to use an adapter like this as long as it doesn't change the fulcrum of where you're turning. So that was 23 foot-pounds, that should be good. Go ahead and clean this up. Now let's fill it. So guys, here's the pump I mentioned. This is the Mityvac. It is a really versatile way to either draw out or fill in liquids from a tight spot. A link to show you this tool is going to be in the description. It's an Amazon link. I'm an Amazon affiliate. If you click it, I get a very small commission that helps me make these videos at no added cost to you. I actually have 2 of these. I use one to evacuate fluid, to remove it out of things, the dirty old fluid, and then I just reverse the direction of it and I blow it back into a big 55-gallon drum that'll later be recycled. Now you can combine your gear oil, your regular motor oil, all those kind of things, as long as you don't add things like brake fluid, which will contaminate it. Then it'll cost you a lot to recycle it. Now the reason I have 2 is because this one is just for filling clean fluids. It makes it really easy to clean this guy out. Just a little bit of household detergent. And that's of course because fresh fluids don't have all the gunk that you get in dirty fluids, especially diesel. Sooty diesel oil, no good. So let's fill this bad boy up. Now this is almost 4 liters. We only need 2.5, so the whole thing will not get used here. So guys, I'm gonna give you a brief explanation of how this Mityvac works. First you put this little guy in, kind of turn him around to where you can clamp him. Now, up is for dispense, that's for evacuate, it's labeled here. This handle will charge it, and As soon as you start pumping, it'll start spitting fluid out of the hose. So now we have to stick the hose up there and just start pumping. When we're done, we'll put whatever's left inside the canister that we opened just in case we ever need it. That ought to do it. Our goal now is going to be basically to overflow that hole. There it goes. Now this thing will limit the pressure you create. It won't just let you like blow it up. Now guys, we play the waiting game, but don't go away because it will start to come out and you will want to stop this thing. Now this thing can be stopped in several ways. For one, you could pull this, which lets all the pressure out, and the fluid will come right back inside. You'll see it here in a second. And there goes the fluid right back inside. That's another beautiful part of this. My old one actually didn't have one of those cool valves. Now, once it starts to pour out, you're done. Probably getting kind of close. Overall, this process of filling it should take under a couple of minutes. Oh, there it goes. Now all we do is transfer the hose. Now, of course, guys, remember, always, always, always recycle your fluids. Don't just pour things down the drain, especially never do that with oil. Used oil is really hazardous and bad for the environment. It should be recycled. Now, certain coolants, sometimes, if you check with your municipality, are actually okay to put down the drain, but you have to check. All right, we're all ready to button up. Let's wipe off the excess oil. I'm once again gonna use some thread sealer. Now keep in mind, this is sealer, not locker. You're just gonna get up here. All right, let's give this a nice snug with our trusty snap-on. Bang on 22. Clean everything up a little bit. You now know how to change your own S14 manual transmission fluid in your garage, whether you have a lift or not. It's a very easy job. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you liked the video. I'm gonna go take this thing for a spin, make sure it shifts nice and crisp, and I'll come back with more videos soon. For now, I'd love it if you guys gave me a like, subscribed, or just left me a comment.